AEW star Will Ospreay just took a shot at WWE in a new interview where he criticized the company's booking. We're going to take a listen to precisely what Will Ospreay had to say, which WWE talent he wants to come to AEW, and break down what all of this means. I'm Omer Q for Real Take Wrestling. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. All right, so Will Ospreay sat down with comicbook.com and he discussed, among many things, what WWE star he would like to see in AEW. And in the process of talking about that, he actually ended up taking a bit of a shot against the company. So without further ado, let's take a quick listen to what Ospreay had to say here.
Because of the matches you guys had in the 2010s, everyone will always link Ospreay and Ricochet together. Do you still keep up with Ricochet's work, and have you just had the chance to check out what he's doing lately?
Yeah, honestly, I keep up with him all the time, and sometimes you get a little bit sad about it. I hope he's not sad, and I hope he's real happy. I keep up with him as much as I can, but I feel like people are forgetting who Ricochet was once upon a time. Like, all of these high flyers that you see, and myself included, we all took inspiration from Pac and Ricochet. And I don't really care. Like, the fact that they only value his time for under 5 minutes is appalling to me. And I just want people to remember who he is. Like, if you go and look at 2012 to 2013 Dragon Gate Ricochet, he was untouchable at the time, man. So for me now, like, I don't know how much longer he's got in his contract, but I think it might be up soon, man. Like, I don't know, maybe, but I want him to know that, like, there are people here that generally appreciate his work, and like, I want to wrestle him again. I want him back here. I want him to know that, like, there isn't like a bar. Like, you are the bar. When it came to this generation of high flyers, he was the greatest. He is the greatest high flyer ever. And like, I know this sounds weird, but like, I do include, like, I do put him on the same level as Rey Mysterio. Obviously, Rey Mysterio has that history with the mask and everything, but he just changed the game in terms of what an athletic professional wrestler looks like. Him and Pac, anyway. So I just want to see him with more time and an ability to showcase himself how I saw him, because he should have been the junior heavyweight champion. He should have had more opportunities. He's one of the best going. And if the opportunity presents itself, I think he should bet on himself. And I think he should remind himself that he is one of the best high flyers to ever do it.
So that was Will Ospreay, who will be battling for the International Championship at AEW Double or Nothing, discussing with comicbook.com about WWE's booking, Ricochet specifically, who is someone who Ospreay has a lot of history with. Obviously, Will Ospreay and Ricochet had one of the most spectacular matches you will ever see a couple of years ago. And that was really when I think Ospreay, and Ricochet for that matter, got on the more casual mainstream radar of professional wrestling. But you take that history kind of away from it even, like, and just look at what Will had to say. It is hard to argue against what he laid out there, because this wasn't even him being like taking like a malicious shot against WWE. I think this is more than fair critique. The concept of WWE speed seems cool, and it seems very fun in theory. However, when you sit down and actually watch it, it is just rushed. It feels like it's not, part of the show. It doesn't feel like it's canon. It doesn't really feel like it matters. It is largely there as more content for WWE to put out so they can kind of license that content. And also, it's a fun little thing to do for the crowd in attendance. And I think what Will is talking about here is he takes, great, I think, opposition to the fact that Ricochet, someone who is largely credited for inspiring the current era's, feeling and vibe about high flying professional wrestling, like someone who really paved the way in a lot of ways. Like you go back, like Will said, the stuff he was doing in Dragon Gate, go back and look at the stuff he was doing in Lucha Underground just about over 10 years ago as Prince Puma. Ricochet was once in a generational as far as the type of high flyer that he was and how simple and easy he made those things look. And anyone would have told you that this is a guy who you could not only, build, like have in your company and have be a productive guy, but build around. Like he is a genuine building block. That's the type of in-ring talent that Ricochet is and always has been. And there you heard Ospreay like mention that. He's like, look, he paid, like him, Pac, they paved the way for guys like me to do what we do. And for Will, it's kind of sad to see that. And he's sad to see the way Ricochet has been booked in WWE. And if you look at it really, he hasn't been booked horribly. Like he is not a perennial jobber. He still has a bit of that mystique about him just because we all know he's Ricochet at the end of the day, right? It's just one of those things. No matter how bad you book a great talent like Ricochet, we all kind of know what he's capable of, and he's capable of significantly more than he has done in WWE. He's capable of significantly more than I think he's kind of allowed to do in WWE, which is a whole different argument. But for whatever reason, outside of the feud with Logan Paul, which I thought was very well built up, and a little back and forth with him and Lesnar a couple of years back, he has basically done nothing since he's come to WWE. And we have heard reports that Ricochet's contract is up in 2024. We don't know precisely when. However, recently WWE has been engaging in contract talks later and later and closer to the expiration date. So could mean that that Ricochet, has something to think about once his contract does come up. And if it does, I think you're going to have people in AEW like Will Ospreay who are advocating for a guy like Ricochet to come in, because even if you just want to do it for one match, Will Ospreay, this version of Will Ospreay versus this new and honestly like more famous and popular version of Ricochet, that is a dream match people want to see, because what we saw 10 years ago, I think is just going to be completely different than what we would see today. You would see some high flying stuff, but these are two people who have really, cemented themselves as more than just high flyers. These are people who can tell a story. These are two wrestlers who can go out there and wrestle like a brooding style. And I think it's a no-brainer, right? If Will Ospreay is there, Ricochet, I've done that 3 times now. If Ricochet is there, you got to bring him in at least for that match. And I think Ricochet is someone who can go to New Japan and become the world champion there. He can go to TNA and he can dominate there. He can go to AEW and he can do a lot of great stuff there. Like the horizon for him, right, is just wide and vast, and there's so much that could be done. And I just honestly, personally, I would love to see a lot of matches. Like Ricochet versus Ospreay is a dream match for sure. But like Ricochet versus Kenta, Ricochet versus Dante Martin is that would be insane. Like way more insane than I think people even realize. Ricochet versus Rey Fenix again. Like run back Penta and Ricochet, the old El Rey Lucha Underground days. Like let's go and give people a run here. Like that's my way of thinking about it. But of course, at the end of the day, this is a decision that Ricochet needs to make. I am sure that WWE is going to offer him a lot of good money to stay. There's also the factor of Samantha Irvin being, his partner. And let's be honest, that is a factor in this decision for any wrestler, right? Being closer to your family, being closer to your loved ones while you're on the road. It's much easier to do that when you're in the same company than when you are not. People have made it work. Don't get me wrong. People are still making it work. But it's not just about making it work. It's about being together and being happy, right? Like that is a thing that, outside of the business standpoint does actually factor in, you would think, to the decision. So we'll see what happens, but I'm sure that people are going to absolutely destroy Will Ospreay online. I'm sure they already are. I'm sure that, people are going to be spamming the hell out of the comment section in this video. Please do that, even if you disagree with what Will Ospreay had to say. But there is, even in the most unfair, or in what people may believe unfair criticism, a kernel of truth. And the truth here is that WWE could be doing more with Ricochet. I think we all agree there. What that more could be, given the constraints of the roster and where they are, who knows? But we'll see. Maybe Ricochet does end up going to AEW. Maybe he goes to New Japan. Maybe he goes to All Japan, ends up back in WWE. There's a lot that could happen here, but I want to hear from all of you guys. What do you think Ricochet should do? What do you think about Will Ospreay's comments? Were they fair? Were they unfair? Did you like them? Did you hate them? Do you want to slap the taste out of Will Ospreay's face? I mean, look, you can do that. I'm not going to do that. That's crazy. Dude, it's going to destroy me. But let me know in the comment section, guys. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever new videos release. I'm Omer Q for Real Take Wrestling. Be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.